Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Pamela Zimmer. I am a corporate director here with APL Go, and I am in sunny but cold and snowy Reno, Nevada, and I'm super excited to be hosting this monthly call with our wonderful expert, Mary Esther Gilbert. I'm just going to read a little bit of her bio because she's got a bio that's like 16 pages long. She's so amazing. Every time I'm on a call with her or just am with her in person, I learn so much. And I just don't want to forget anything. So she has lots of letters behind her name, but she is an honors graduate with a bachelor's degree in nutrition science and both a bachelor's and a master's of science in holistic nutrition. And with over 40 years of ongoing research of nutritional therapies, integrating the science and ancient arts of botanical medicine, nutritional healing, holistic fitness, and energy healing, drawing upon that scientific research in the fields of biophysics, biophotonics, I hope I said that right, and bioenergy work. She works to help her clients successfully transform their health. Her True Health Mastery system uses evidence-based nutritional health improving protocols and includes both preventative and corrective nutritional health management. Her scientific and holistic approach brings results and builds awareness of one's own nutritional physiology when learning how to fulfill the body's daily nutrient and energy requirements. And I love this. She believes that a holistic lifestyle holds the key to living life in optimal health vibrancy. So we have an amazing expert here with us. We are just so blessed to be able to have her as part of our team here at APL Go. So please help me welcome Mary Esther Gilbert. So Mary Esther, I'm just going to kind of dive right in, if you don't mind, because usually these calls we kind of go over one drop. I know last month we talked about all 18, which was amazing, but usually we take this hour and we talk about one, and you get to go really in depth with the ingredients and the benefits and all of that and share all of your expertise. But tonight we're actually going over two drops. We're going over both the Power Apricot and the Power Lemon, or as some of us like to call it, Power Women, Power Men. And I'd like to kind of maybe debunk the myth that it's men's or women's. So if you don't mind, if you want to just say hello and then we can kind of get right in.
Hey, hi everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Boy, do we have a presentation for you tonight. I can't wait. I spent a few days on this. I wanted to really dive deeply into our own hormonal systems in the body and other systems, of course, that we'll, talk about as the questions progress. I hope you're going to ask me the questions in order because that's how I did
Yeah.
that's how I did I put together the presentation. So definitely, I'm excited to be here because by the end of this hour or so, hopefully, I mean, I don't mind going over a little bit, if we want to have time for questions too, because I have a feeling you'll have more questions. The more knowledge you have, the more questions you develop, right? Because your knowledge gets more in depth, right? So that's my goal tonight, is to give you a little bit more in-depth knowledge. That way, you'll be so much more confident in having people, want to take these two amazing drops. I think they're unisex, because the body utilizes every single one of these nutrients in both formulations. And because you're a woman or because you're a man, you're not going to turn into the other gender. There's no such thing as far as I'm concerned. So we're looking at the DNA level kind of way to utilize nutrients.
Yeah, I love that. Unisex. I absolutely love that. So okay. Well, I say we just dive right in. And yes, questions in order, because that helps me stay on track too. And then feel free if there's something that I didn't ask in here that would enhance the question. You're the expert, and I defer to you in all things when it comes to the science of these amazing rapid DNA drops. So the first two questions are kind of similar. They go hand in hand. At what age could a female safely start taking Power Apricot? And will the ingredients affect the natural occurrence of puberty, specifically beginning menstruation in young girls?
Okay, I love this question. And yeah, the second question is I'm going to be answering this question that will apply to the second question. So when we get to it, you will have seen how I have done that.
Yeah.
So at the onset of the body changes in the maturation process of preteens, in puberty or pre-puberty, the nutritional needs of children over age 10 are almost like an adult. So they are growing so rapidly and developing. Their cells are replicating and just growing in numbers so rapidly. You can tell because they outgrow their clothes every other week, right? And so, but still, it's very similar to what adults need. So anyway, the onset of the puberty, it's influenced by all these different factors. So one thing is body weight, uh, as opposed to chronological age. So when a person reaches a certain age, they're going to start their menses. A minimum of 17% body fat is required for the start of the menses. And then an amount of 22% body fat in females over age 16 appears necessary for the maintenance of regular ovulation and the menstrual cycles. Or undernutrition, or how the body fat is a higher ratio of lean body mass to lean body fat, can delay puberty, including delaying the onset of the menses. So young girls who are very athletic and are very lean are likely to start their menses much later. So excess, exercise or even malnutrition can interfere with maintaining the healthy proportions of the body fat that can delay the onset of the menses. And then another point is that there are the full range of vitamins and minerals and all the plant phytonutrients that we've come to be so familiar with in the formulations, also known as phytosterols or, phytochemicals. They have all these different names. They're found in the fruits and vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, whole grains, leafy greens, all the animal-derived proteins. They're all critical for the growth and development of young girls and boys. So we should not be afraid or concerned about the biochemical compounds in these obviously nutritious foods that we've been eating all of our lives, hopefully, the healthy foods. So then we've got, I want to show you this chart. I'm going to share my screen here. You should be able to see my chart here.
Yes.
Okay, so I just took this off the government guidelines, and they're not they're kind of a general rule of thumb, and it depends on the age and how active the person is, and so these nutrients will vary. So these are pretty much the minimum required for a growing body that will prevent a lot of the deficiency diseases, and that's kind of like the line that they draw. So these are the B vitamins: biotin, folacin or folate, niacin, the pantothenic acid, riboflavin. You'll see how they need these micrograms per day, right? And that varies because of the type of molecule it is and how the body utilizes it. So then we're getting into the vitamins A, and then also B6 and B12, and vitamin C, D, E, and K. And these are found in the aforementioned foods, or you can get like a whole food supplement that will provide these essential vitamins and minerals. So then we've got, things like calcium and chromium and copper and iodine and iron, and those are smaller micro trace minerals, and they are also, that is the iron and the copper and the iodine are needed in smaller quantities than some of the other nutrients. But these are the micronutrient needs of children 9 to 13 years old. And also we've got more of the minerals down here, and a couple of neurotransmitters that act like neurotransmitters or precursors to aiding the nervous system. Okay, then we've got people who are, those age groups, they will need to be up against all the toxic pollutants that we all are, exposed to, and that could interfere with their growth and development, their hormonal systems. Those are terrible hormone disruptors, these synthetic chemicals that are in our environment and in body care products and cosmetics and things like that. So we constantly need to have a diet or nutrients that will help detoxify the body. So then we've got also all these antioxidants, all these plant chemicals, you know, and all these different foods that I mentioned, fruits, berries, herbs, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, leafy greens. So these have all been shown to protect against all these different chronic health problems. And also if a person is not highly nourished, then there's going to be inflammatory reactions, and there are going to be a lot of incomplete processes at the DNA level. If a certain nutrient is missing, then the body just comes to a halt when it comes to manufacturing a certain tissue or hormone or, you know, any kind of cell in the body, the nervous system, bone development, hair growth, you know, all of that. If there are chronic missing nutrients in the diet, then, you know, those processes could come to a halt. And so the body switches to concentrating on more life-threatening, you know, or life-preserving processes in the body to protect the organs, like the brain and the kidneys, you know, the liver, and all of the very, very important organs that we cannot live without, right? So then we've got all these studies that will show how all these plant-deficient diets will also increase the oxidative stress. So we need the plant kingdom in our diet to reduce inflammation and prevent these chronic conditions. And like I said, linked to toxic exposure of these environmental pollutants and synthetic chemicals. That includes plastics. If you store foods in plastics that are not, you know, that have the label that say no BPAs, none of those plastics that will release and gas out and end up in the food kind of thing. So be careful how you pick your plastics. And then we've got other toxins, you know, they're going to be affecting their poor brains and nerves and hormones and all of that. That's the last thing young people need, is these kinds of hormone disruptors, right? So it's good to establish healthy eating habits and, of course, be the example, and just not keep a lot of junk food around in the house. You know, it's bad enough that when they leave the house and they go out with friends or even at school, they're going to have a lot of these hormone disruptors and things that stunt their growth and therefore disrupt their menses, right? So then, you know, there's a lot of pro-inflammatory markers that you can do with lab tests to test for things like C-reactive protein, interleukin, all these different things, tumor necrosis factor alpha, or TNFA, I like to call it. You know, all these markers that you can see from these medical tests. It's a good idea to have these done every once in a while, you know, to know what's going on in the body. Unless you're pretty sure that your child is eating a perfectly healthy, you know, highly balanced, nutrient-dense diet, then, you know, you don't have to worry about that so much. Yeah. And then, of course, all of these, even in children, all these studies are showing that such dietary intervention will prevent cardiovascular disease even in younger children. And of course, we know that our country has a real problem with child obesity, you know, and all the metabolic syndromes that go with that. And then I'm still answering the first two questions,
yes,
Pamela.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So let's take a look at some of the ingredients in the Power Apricot and how it affects growth and development. So then the apricot has a huge classification of carotenoids, the plant phytonutrients that help with bone growth and development. I'm going to enlarge this for us so we can see this. So, you know, as the child grows, it starts out with the hyaline cartilage, right? And then it starts growing the bone mass inside this cartilage and starts developing into hardened bone, starts developing the blood vessels. And all this requires nutrition. It requires the plant kingdom, especially. And then we've got the ossification, you know, that happens as the bone develops and grows. And pretty soon we've got a nice solid bone. And then we've got the spongy bone that continues to provide nutrients and the blood vessels and developing, you know, things like holding the minerals, calcium and phosphorus, things like that in the bone. So we do need to make sure that our children are growing up and, you know, making sure they have nice, strong bones. Mm-hmm. I have a very good friend who is a cross-country coach, and he coaches middle school children. And he's done this for many years, he's finding that now a lot of the children have very fragile bones, and they're finding breakages in the bones of their feet, you know, and they're more prone to injury, things like that. So we need to make sure that our young people are developing properly. So that's why the apricot and other botanicals in the Power Woman is so good. It's not for mature women. We have to stop thinking of these drops as some kind of drug. Drugs don't nourish. They don't cause the growth that we need with nutrients, especially, like I said, all those phytochemicals, phytonutrients, and trace minerals and vitamins that are found in the plants, in the formulations. So then we've got the maintenance of the epithelial cells, which are the different kinds of cells that are always growing and developing and being replaced in the body. So we've got the lungs and all that, but I want to skip down to the, where is it? Okay, ciliated tissues, there are in the uterine tubes, in the uterus, okay, and so these are like simple columnar epithelium that will grow and slough off, and you see the nucleus of the cells there where the DNA is, where those are the instructions to instruct the body to continue to replicate these cells. And a growing, developing body needs to make sure that these are growing properly. These are replicating properly with no mistakes, in the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then also the good old apricot has a lot of flavonoids, so these play a role in the cell's reproduction cycle. It aids the immune system. They protect the blood vessels. I've always said, make sure you eat a lot of foods that are high in flavonoids so that you have nice, strong, flexible blood vessels that aren't prone to damage or blood clots, kind of thing. And then I just want to say a little bit about the plant phytosterols. And this is very important because people are afraid when they hear sterols, they think, oh no, it's steroids, right? No, plant sterols are a kind of molecule that are present in plants that actually help the plant grow. And since we are so very almost identical at the DNA level to plants, we have the same metabolic processes, then our bodies also need these plant sterols, okay? So you can't avoid them. They're in all of our healthy foods. So anyway, children under the age of puberty shouldn't take large concentrations of any plant sterol supplement. Now that's different. If it's in a food, then it's got the balancing effect of other augmenting nutrients that are in the foods. But if you go and buy a sterol supplement, then that's going to have a much higher concentration of this kind of steroid-like, or hormone-like substance that's part of a plant growth and development. So therefore, humans, cell replication and children's growth and development. So we should not really be afraid of these foods. They have so many other nutrients that help the growth, right? So, but just, I just really tell people, if you're going to take a supplement, just take a whole food vitamin mineral supplement that has a lot of whole foods in it, right? And it's organic, so that you avoid the pesticides and that kind of those hormone disruptors. So yeah, it's just common sense. We are built for nutritional synergy, not isolated nutrients. All right, so studies show plant sterols have been applied under medical supervision to aid in preventing what is called hypercholesterolemia, and that's low density lipoprotein, or LDL blood cholesterol. And that cholesterol is necessary too, but you don't want an abundance of it because it doesn't help clean out the blood vessels like the high density lipoprotein cholesterol does. So anyhow, plant sterols will aid in how the body uses cholesterol. Cholesterol is one of the main structures of every single cell in the body. So we need that flexibility, pliability factor from cholesterol. Our bodies will manufacture cholesterol. That's how natural and normal cholesterol is. But it has to be in balance, So you don't want to have too much sugar because the body converts that to fats, and the initial processes are called the triglycerides. So when a person has elevated triglycerides, that's usually because they're either eating too many of the wrong fats, or mostly because they're eating too much sugar at once. Okay, the processed sugar, not talking about whole food carbohydrates. So that, has a whole cascade effect on the body, and it results in cardiovascular risk. And this includes pediatric ages as well. All right, so then we've got obesity and heart health risks in children and teens that progress throughout adulthood. And that can be averted again with balanced whole food nutrition. And, the drops are the genetic instructions of the plant. So our DNA reads that DNA and fixes anything that has gone wrong or has been damaged at our own DNA level. So we're very compatible with these little drops. They're very powerful. They do a lot of repair work at the DNA level, which the body does anyway with whatever nutrients are in the body. And then if the child is exercising, a nutrient-dense, balanced diet and the right supplements, they're just so, so important for the growth and development, especially in teens. You want to keep the teens, especially the females who experience what it's like to have the female hormones. And so in their growth and development, and if their diet is high in the wrong types of fats and they are missing a lot of minerals that will keep their nervous system calm, then we all know what young teens are like, right? All of a sudden, you can't live with them anymore. They're your little angels. What happened to them? Okay, so we have to keep them on an even keel biochemically and nutritionally. So anyhow, let's see. Yeah, I'm trying not to rush. I really want to do this justice, so I hope you all are with me here.
This is phenomenal. Yes.
Okay.
Can you just real brief, because I don't even know that we kind of explained what is different about these rapid DNA drops versus like another supplement or pill or something that we would take, and why these are so much more absorbable and all of that with the nutrients. Can you just maybe do like 60 seconds of that, so that when we're talking about all of these nutrients like the apricot and everything, it's not that we're just eating apricot, it's not crushed up into a pill, right? We're getting the DNA form of that directly into our blood cells. Can you just maybe touch on that really quick, just to bring everyone up to speed?
Yes. Okay, so I don't know what happens to all the fiber, because all those plant materials end up in that huge vat, that elixir, where they're mixing the sugar, the molasses, all those wonderful healthy sugars in this giant vat where all the plant materials are being stirred up. And then, of course, they're bombarding them with adding more electrons at the atomic level so that they're even stronger antioxidants to neutralize, toxins and poisons and other free radicals that the body produces under stress conditions and things like that. So, basically, they are 100% absorbable because of the size of the molecules that end up in the vat. So I don't know the whole procedure, but I would guess that they would leave out the fiber. Otherwise, we'd be eating, gumball sized drops, right? So all the other molecules are small enough to fit through the cell membrane. And because they're viable, in other words, they have the enzymes required to allow the cell membrane on our cells in the body to recognize the molecules and allow them. And this happens in the enzymatic process. So without enzymes, this can't happen. Things will happen forever. You'll never absorb nutrients. Your body won't be able to metabolize or digest anything or move nutrients or grow new cells. Nothing happens without enzymes. So because those enzymes are preserved in the drops, that makes them 100% movable through the cell membranes and inside the universe of our cells where health happens or the disease process happens. That's where it's all at. Everything is when you eat, you're digesting food and getting them to that level, to the micronutrient level, the trace minerals, the vitamins and the phytonutrient compounds. Those are all very, very small and they fit through the cell membrane. Our cell membranes, and I don't know if you've seen other videos, all of you, but at one point I saw, I have a picture of the cell and then an enlargement of the cell membrane. And at that cell membrane site, you have a lot of proteins that recognize these molecules and elect to either allow nutrients through the cell membrane or repel things that don't belong or not of the body, as scientists call it. And I think I'll stop right there.
Yes. Wow. That
I'm
was
sorry.
the first question.
Nutrition is not as simple as people think.
No.
When I was teaching the classes, the students would say, "Oh, I'm just going to take a nutrition class for an easy A," and they found out, well, this is quite complex, more complex than I ever thought. But yeah, the body's very complex.
Well, that's why we're glad we have you. So I guess, and like you mentioned, similarly to that first question, how early can a female start taking the Power Apricot. Same, like at what age could a male start taking the Power Lemon? And again, I love that you call them unisex. Um, and I'm just learning that there are things like the apricot that support our healthy bones, and the plant phytosterols that help our blood vessels and all of that. So is there something else in the Power Lemon um, that would be beneficial? Or I guess, yeah, I guess just at what age? Um,
Yeah. So when the body, children, when they're younger, it's good to give them a chewable, whole food kind of supplement. And there are more and more out there, or maybe even a liquid, just to make sure if the parents are too busy to make sure their children are completely nourished, and especially if the children are active, things like that, then I would say do that. But until they start eating better, and are trying more variety of foods, especially those in the plant kingdom, to get the full range of plant sterols. But I haven't seen anything in the scientific literature after all of these months and years of study that these botanicals, the ones that are in the drops, will cause any problem for children. Um, they're just plant sterols. They're just vitamins and minerals. They're enzymes. They're just these are nutrients that the body needs, especially young developing bodies. And yes, their hormones are not going to be more intense until they're pre-teens or teens, but their little bodies will break down those molecules. The plant sterol is a huge molecule, and it's got protein in it, and it's got carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And even little bodies will break down those molecules down to the most elemental components to help rebuild their tissues and their growth and development. So I really have not found any problem with that. It's not like they're taking, synthetic steroids or anything. In fact, sometimes they are given that medically, but that's not going to do the same thing at all as the plant sterols.
Yeah, I have always wondered about that because I have two teenage boys, and we just started giving our 16-year-old the Power Lemon because I was all afraid, oh, you're not old enough yet. And so now maybe I'll hand it to the 13-year-old as well.
Yeah, this isn't hormonal therapy at
Yeah,
all.
right.
You know,
And that's what
that
I love
belongs to the
about them, is that we're absorbing these nutrients in these botanicals. It's not a medical steroid that we're giving.
exactly. Yeah, it's like a precursor to all the thousands of hormones that the body makes, including
Mhm.
young babies and toddlers and children, teenagers, adults, all the way up to, 105 years old. But yeah, we don't have to be worrying about these because they're in our foods. They've been there all along,
Yeah.
helping with growth and development. So I just listed a few other foods here, you know, that so that people can see that these are normal foods and they're in there, you
Yeah.
know. So
Wonderful.
anyway, I go into a lot more detail. I think I got carried away, but okay, I was just going to go over the next little bit of information. And of course, I didn't want to do what I did with the apricot. The apricot is pretty special because of the plant sterols and the flavonoids and the extra essential fatty acids. The apricot is just like the superfood among superfoods, okay? But as far as the withania, it's an adaptogenic, meaning your body whenever it's under a lot of stress, then it helps calm things down. It doesn't sedate you, but it's just it nourishes the nervous system. It stabilizes all the biochemicals that normally would react under stress, but instead your body, if it's very well nourished and it's keeping the nervous system stabilized and it's keeping the hormonal system stabilized, then you're able to handle stress more calmly and rationally. Okay. And I just listed a few of the phytochemicals in there. It helps form new nerve cells in the nervous system. What child doesn't need that? And what adult doesn't need that? We need to replenish our cells in our nervous system too. Help maintain cell membrane permeability. That's very important. If you have rigid, dried up cells, then they're going to be damaged, and the immune system's going to come in and eat them up and destroy them. And, there will be chronic, deficiencies, maybe if it happens on a large scale. And then it helps modulate the immune functions. It's an anti-inflammatory, anti-stress. And I just skimmed the top. I only took whatever I would be applying to our young, children to answer the question.
Yeah.
We've got asparagus, helps regulate fat and cholesterol, aids the liver, gallbladder, kidney functions. They've got all these organs too, right? And then hormonal regulations and menstruation, alleviates menstrual cramping. Damiana leaf restores and maintains normal levels of female hormones, maintaining the glandular hormonal endocrine system functions. And then also helps with emotional stress. And it guards against physical and mental fatigue. So it nourishes the nervous system, and it goes into the cells and helps with the energy production process. Ginger root, great anti-inflammatory, tons of scientific research done on this plant. Silica is found commonly in bones and tendons, the aorta, kidneys, liver, hair, skin, and nails. What kid wouldn't need that? Contains a essential fatty acid, a very important fatty acid for, the brain and nervous system health, and also the oleic acid for the omega-9 fatty acids. So all these different fatty acids, the omegas do different things in the body. The ginkgo leaf, it's helped used to help reduce anxiety, to improve memory and learning ability, and improve the microcirculation. That's taken from the book that I wrote. All right, so here's number 2.
Yeah.
So power lemon, the same thing applies to the boys. Everything that we've talked about so far, and it's at puberty, or the onset of puberty is probably the best time to start giving them a boost of these kinds of phytonutrients and regular, vitamins and minerals. They could all use that, because these are extremely important for the nervous system in the brain and in development. They play so many different roles in all the body systems. And that looks like a lot of, milligrams, but boys do need a little more than girls. And so, they're larger, their bone structures are larger, they have more blood volume, and so they're more prone to be more aggressive, during these years. So they're just learning how to be little men, but they have to stay calm. They have to calm down, stay rational, be nice, kind of thing. So it's been found that children who are given supplements are better learners, they have longer attention spans, and they have better interactions with people. Their behavior is better. So then here are some extra ingredients in the power lemon. So the fig, just to pull out a few points for boys, red blood cell formation. Like I said, males have more red blood cells than women. It promotes bone density. Their bones are larger and therefore denser. Promotes muscle strength. And of course, women need muscle strength too. Girls exercise too, and they develop muscle strength as well. Do they develop large muscles like boys or men? No, we don't have the hormone configurations for that. It's not possible. Some women are more prone to have more muscular physiques than men. And if they do powerlifting, of course, they're going to look larger, than a lot of other women. But that's just how they're built. And that's the kind of exercise that they do, and also aids in nerve development, maintains kidney functions and liver functions. So the fig does a heck of a lot more. I mean, if you were to look at my book, it would be so impressive that there's so many different things that all these botanicals do. And we've got the ginseng. Now, I personally have been taking both types of ginseng for years. And the women who have come to me with female issues, I just suggest that they take the ginsengs along with other plants that have different kinds of plant sterols in them, so that the body can pick and choose and decide which hormones that the body needs and makes. It's not going to accumulate in the body and cause a lot of problems for the body. So we have to keep in mind that the body breaks everything down. It's a chemist in there. It knows what to do with all of these different foods and their plant compounds. So then it greatly enhances the immune cells. You know, it's got all these antimicrobial functions. It improves memory, learning, mental, and physical performance. And it enhances the body's ability to take on physical loads without increasing the body's need for more oxygen consumption. So a lot of times men can do more and go faster and longer because their ability to deliver more oxygen. Okay, so but ginseng helps that with it doesn't have a gender preference. You know, if you exercise, you'll find that you won't get as tired and you can take on more exercise. You know, and then all kinds of other phytonutrient compounds in it, like the ginsenosides. They stimulate the brain, or not stimulate. They just kind of help the brain release a lot of the biochemicals that affect the cell-to-cell nerve signaling and all the biochemical pathways that result in improved alertness. The saponins, they also help increase the neurotransmitters dopamine, noradrenaline, and all these others, antidepressant actions without, any kind of side effects. They just nourish the nervous system and help the communication transmissions, go through correctly. And then the polysaccharides, fatty acids, all these different proteins. It helps with cholesterol, and how the body uses cholesterol. So ginseng is pretty good. And ladies, girls, do not worry about it. Lemon has the flavonoids. The body converts them to bioflavonoids. And it's all about blood sugar balance, and neutralizing damaging molecules, just rendering them ineffective. And the immune system goes in and gets rid of them. Also against bacteria and other microbials. And that should say viral, not iviral. Aids in fat metabolism, cholesterol. Again, lemon has many, many different attributes, but I just picked out the ones relating to, the hormonal thing. And then pomegranate seed contains the polyunsaturated fats. Those are all precursors for the 10,000 hormones the body makes. And then it actually helps the kidney and regulate the blood pressure. Kidneys are responsible for making sure the body has the correct blood pressure. Water intake is very important, mineral intake to help the kidneys regulate the water in the body. And then it improves the blood hemoglobin levels, which is, what improves the oxygenation of the muscles. All right. I hope I answered that.
Yes, I think so. That was a phenomenal explanation, and I'm thankful that you went over all the different ingredients in each one, because you already kind of answered question 3 in terms of what other benefits are there for preteens taking power, because, as we just learned that, it helps our bones and the oxygenation and the cholesterol and all of those things. Is there anything else that you might want to add for that question in terms of either apricot or lemon, other benefits for preteens or teens?
Yeah, I mean, I skimmed all the research that I've done for this formulation, and I just what the takeaway was, it just allows all the body systems to function normally while they're growing and developing their bodies. Their cells are replicating and making sure that DNA is intact, and all the genetic instructions that make the body operate and grow is, protected. And then, of course, it's going to be aiding the hormonal system, the balance of hormones. Sometimes the body makes stress hormones, or something that could go wrong in that developmental process. And so, once the body detects the right nutrients, then it can go to work and fix it. That's what the body does. It works on nutrients. So, it's going to affect their mental, emotional, and psychological health just by balancing the hormones and nourishing that nervous system. And then, just normally functioning during the growth and development period. And so they'll be able to respond to stress more calmly, and even have higher self-esteems, because low self-esteems are not just social, interpretations. They are biochemical problems as well. And they affect hormones that bring the moods down, or things like fear and worry, those kinds of stress interactions too. The body produces stress hormones. So when the body has a choice of the nutrients, it can use those nutrients to calm down and therefore allow the young person to feel more rational, and more calm and
Wow.
think.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Um, okay. As a young athlete, putting stress on their bodies, obviously the power could be of support. Can you just share a little bit about that?
Yes, all these botanicals, they have all these phytochemicals that are known to stabilize. Okay, they're going to support every single cellular process that happens in all these different body systems, bone, growth in the skeletal system, maintaining the musculature, and even provide the energy, because muscles store energy too. So when they exercise, they're not going to feel lethargic or tired. If they're well nourished and they're replenishing nutritionally after every exercise session, then they're going to come back and be stronger than before. That's true for anyone, but even more true for children. And their glands, that produce all these different hormones, all the way from the pituitary master gland, all the way down to the reproductive hormones. All of those thousands of hormones need to be functioning properly. Circulatory system, making sure the blood vessels are delivering the oxygen and the nutrients to all areas of the body. Urinary, and you don't want any urinary tract infections or any other organ, to make sure that they don't accumulate toxic synthetics. Young girls use a lot of toxic synthetic products. They want to try on the makeup and the perfumes, and they're using all these different shampoos and lotions that smell really nice, but they're all synthetics. Okay, and that is absorbed and it's accumulated over time. It coats the nerve cells, it clogs the lymph system, and it clogs the glandular system. So these synthetics are very, very clogging. But if they're highly nourished and they're taking in plant compounds, like in the drops, it's going to bind and neutralize all those toxins and help the body eliminate them through the 5 eliminative organs. Okay, the skin is one of them. Unfortunately, teens do suffer, a lot of skin issues sometimes, but keep them away from the fried foods and the sugars and the sodas, and they should be fine.
Awesome. Thank you. And then let's kind of swing the other direction, I guess, from young children, teens, preteens, and kind of talk more about men and women who are maybe older age, right? If a woman has had a total hysterectomy, and again, that can be at 30, that can be at 60, what's the benefit for her to be taking Power Apricot?
Okay, this is very heartbreaking because my own sister years ago, she had a total hysterectomy, but she didn't ask for one. They were only supposed to take out one ovary.
Mm.
And when she woke up, she felt like she'd been robbed. And, she said that for many years. So she always had problems with, trying not to be depressed, trying not to be sad. She had missing, ability to manufacture a lot of the hormones her body needed, all these different things. She's passed away, God rest her, and I miss her terribly. But she really suffered a lot. And so the clients that I've had over the years with this problem too, if I can catch them before that happens, they can avoid it. They can avoid having any kind of invasion in their reproductive organs. So having said that, the research is not very abundant as far as what to do after a total hysterectomy, because the body does not produce any more of the estrogen compounds, and the other hormones that women produce and imbalance. So the next best thing is to take in the natural fatty acids that are in raw nuts and seeds, and all the plant phytosterols, like the apricot. It has a lot of phytosterols in it, and the essential fatty acids that are known to help the hormonal system. And of course, the body has other glands. And the body is extremely intelligent. It has the genetic instructions in every single cell of the body. So it has the memory of how the women's organs would produce the hormones. So it knows how to do that. It knows how to produce those hormones, but it just needs a little bit of help through the nutrition, right? So all these different fruits, berries, leafy greens, herbs, all these different wonderful healing foods, they will help the glandular endocrine system manufacture the hormones that either are very similar or will attempt to help the body maintain itself and function like it did before. It's a good thing that our DNA holds the memory of all the different systems, even if they've been taken out.
Wow. I'm sorry about your sister. And thank you for sharing about that. Um, that's horrible. And thankfully we have these now and some research to go along so that people don't maybe have to get to that extreme. So again, talking about people maybe over the age of 60, the elderly, what would the benefit of them taking Power Apricot and Power Lemon be?
Okay, I love this question. I'm 69 and I feel great.
You
Everything
look
I've ever
amazing.
learned
And
about the book,
yes, you look
everything I've ever learned.
amazing. So I would never have guessed 69 already.
Well, thanks. I feel great and it works, and I've seen it in my older clients as well over the years. So if you continue with the exercise and the stellar diet, the full range nutrient, huge variety of plant foods, raw enzyme active foods, the drops, then your body will stay biologically younger instead of chronologically getting older and matching what the chronological age. I think this is supposed to be normal if all of us practiced, extremely healthy eating habits and exercise and be very conscious, then we'll always have the energy and our cells will keep producing and acting young, and sure, aging does set in, but it's a much slower process. I don't mind aging. I just don't want to be decrepit and I don't want to stop my active lifestyle. And who does, right? So feeling great should be a lifestyle for anyone at any age. I have relatives who made it to, 100. So it can be done. I'm sure a lot of you have too. But so for men and women, if you're over 60, don't slow down. Keep exercising. Weight-bearing exercises, however light, any kind of light-bearing exercises still stimulates the uptake of minerals into the bones, and it helps keep a leaner body mass, muscles. It helps keep the body fat down. It keeps the blood vessels flexible and healthy, keeps things from clogging, so but then at the cell level, the drops will have the benefit of providing the energy production at the cell level, so you won't have that sluggish metabolism, and you'll be able to keep producing the energy at that cell level so that you can fuel all of your life activities and as well as exercise. So then you can provide the body with the precursors of the manufacturing all the different hormones that we've already talked about, and keep your muscles and bones and connective tissues, without any inflammation. And I love to brag. I don't have any inflammation. I don't have any joint problems. I'm telling you, I've been a martial artist. I've been into bodybuilding. I've been a runner, and I don't have any issues. Isn't that amazing? I find that amazing.
You
Right?
brag. You go ahead and brag.
But it's not really bragging. It's just I'm in awe of the human body and what it can do with the right nourishment. Okay. And so, yeah, take your drops, do all the above.
Yes.
So then
Yeah.
you can also avoid the nerve and brain degeneration, your mental health, your memory, your learning, even cognition. Okay. Unfortunately, we have somebody in our government that is failing with his cognition, right? It's really sad. So anyway, moving on. We can help maintain our blood and sugar metabolism, kidney and liver health, blood vessels, the heart, adrenal glands, all of it is maintained.
So much goodness. Okay, we're gonna skip number 7 because that's kind of the same,
It
like you
is.
said, as number 6. And then I know one of the things that we always share about the Power Apricot is that it helps support the adrenal system, especially for women. Adrenal fatigue is something that's very common, especially after childbirth. But I know that men have adrenals as well. So can you just share about the differences and how the Power Apricot and Lemon support those systems?
Yes, I love this question too. Whoever, did you put these questions together
I
yourself, Pamela?
did,
I'm
yes.
impressed. So impressed. Okay, so I'm going to show you some images on the adrenal glands and such, but I just wanted to say that the stress responses are different in men and women because of our types of hormones that are produced even under stress. So there are gender differences in the physiological and pathological responses involving adrenal fatigue. And when you are in the fight or flight, kind of stress reaction, then your body gets worn down. Your nervous system, your nerves get worn down, literally, physically worn down. And if you're not well nourished, and if you're not taking your mind off of your stress, and exercise is an excellent way to do a quick, pick me up, and it just sends hormones everywhere. And it helps eliminate the stress chemicals, all sorts of things. So, it's important to know that you can avoid adrenal fatigue. Personally, in our personal lives, we're under a tremendous amount of stress for various reasons, right? Life is a huge challenge. And so we have to rise to that challenge, or fall down and get run over or whatever. But yeah, this is really important. So the aldosterone levels were, in many studies, reportedly higher in premenopausal women versus postmenopausal women. So these are the types of hormones that the body produces under stress. The cortisol levels were higher in female than male test subjects. So we've got this physical, psychological, pharmacological stress responses, in both males and females. And all that is mediated by the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal trio of communications. So females have greater immune system actions than males, though. Females are more prone to autoimmune and inflammatory conditions than males, where males are more susceptible to bacterial and viral infections. So those are the differences, and it affects the immune system more in different ways, in males and females. So let's go to this. Okay, so these are the different glands in the body, but these are the adrenal glands right here. They sit on top of the kidneys right there. And to blow that up, we'll see. So here's the adrenal glands here. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of small, but they've enlarged that for us. So we've got, and then they've enlarged it again even farther so that we can see the different areas of the adrenal glands. So we've got the adrenal cortex and the medulla. And a lot of the nourishment happens down here, of course. And a lot of these cells are constantly being turned over. And there's a lot of communication with the nervous system and the hormonal system because this one, happens to manufacture various hormones. But this is what it looks like.
Fascinating.
So then here's another picture. Go ahead.
No, I just, we are almost at the end of time, and I just don't, like we could talk on all of this for hours more. I have a lot more questions to ask you, but
Sure.
I think just in the essence of time and getting through everything, I might just skip ahead to some of the other questions that I know a lot of people have been asking me.
Okay.
And I think, we talked about that it's okay for men to take the apricot and women to take the lemon because it is a unisex thing. So I love that. Let's talk about hot flashes really quick.
Okay.
Um, so I think that was question 13.
Okay. Yeah, this is all
But
about thyroid here. So let
yeah.
me go
And
forward here.
if you want to take a minute to talk about the thyroid, because that was another question that I got a lot too, is can women take apricot if they're on thyroid medication?
Okay, this is very important. I think we do. Do we have to have 1 hour? Because this is too important to just be cut off suddenly from an hour. I'm here for you all. And if you all have more time, or if you have strict, orders from the company, I don't
Well,
know. But
that's up to Esther. I'm okay going a little over. But yeah, well, we can go a little over. I just want to respect everyone else's time as well. But
of
talk
course. Okay, and it is being
everyone's
recorded.
asking for
So,
more time.
okay, great. Yeah, I'm trying to hurry, really.
Yes.
But all these questions were so and they required a lot of respect and in turn the much more in-depth explanations. And I think it's important, if we're going to sell these drops, you've got to know what you're talking about. And if we've got to know about the body, because people are asking these kinds of questions. We're not medical doctors, but we can sure talk about the nourishment of all of our different systems, because that's how they function. We need that nourishment. Anyhow, all right, so real quick, this is what the thyroid gland looks like. It sits right on top of there, right around the esophagus, or the trachea, sorry. And then we've got the back of it where the parathyroid glands are. So they produce different types of hormones. Knowing what kinds of hormones your body produces and how they help maintain your health is very, very important. So please download this PDF. I will be posting it on my website, holisticchoices.com, after this. I always post all of them there. Just click on the APL link. And then, so yeah, it's important to know what all these different hormones that these glands put out, because it affects your calcium levels, your potassium levels, your bone density, okay, and your kidneys, how your body metabolizes and utilizes vitamin D. So vitamin D is important for the immune system. It's a precursor to different hormones that the body makes. So, you have to make sure that you're nourished so that your glands will normalize all of its functions so that your body can utilize the different vitamins and minerals and everything else. Amino acids, how your body regulates protein. Your body is mostly protein, and it requires all these different amino acids. So, it's going to affect so many things. Your glands are extremely important for regulating all of these nutrients in the body. Sometimes people get calcium, deposits in the kidney stones, because of their thyroid gland not regulating how your body uses calcium. So your body will take calcium as needed out of the bones, or it'll put it back into the bones, and it needs these glands to make sure that you're doing all of that correctly. Then I go into the two types of foods that the research shows that you should not take in if you have a thyroid condition. I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm just telling you what the science shows. And I have, made sure that we have a good scientific reference list in this document too, so that you can go to the science and take a look at it. But anyway, they're talking about those who have thyroid problems should not eat cruciferous vegetables until they're well. But because these are superfoods, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale, turnips, cauliflower, collard greens, and bok choy. These are superfoods. They have so many health benefits. But it's the way the glands are behaving under those conditions that will turn one of the compounds into something that's toxic and disrupt the thyroid problem, okay? And also they're talking about soy, because it's high in isoflavones, and that exhibits a certain enzyme required for the production of thyroid hormones. So it disrupts the production of the important hormones that the thyroid produces. So I just wanted to really point that out to everyone.
Awesome. Wow. So we do have one question in here. What's the relationship between the adrenals and the thyroid?
So they manufacture different hormones, as I point out different ones here. Let's see, there's yeah, so I talk about the thyroid function, right? And they just release different hormones that control different areas of the body, maintain muscles control, brain function and development, heart and digestive function. So this is the triiode thymine, T3, that the thyroid produces, and also produces thyroxine, T4, helps regulate weight, energy levels, body temperature, helps your body produce healthy cells for skin, hair, and nail growth, and then produces calcitonin. So this is the one that controls the blood calcium levels, and the phosphate levels. So calcium and phosphate are in the bones, and your body will release some of that as needed into the bloodstream or take it back up into the bones. Exercise is extremely important for that, by the way. Potassium levels as well. And then the parathyroid, it also helps regulate the calcium levels, helps the bones release the calcium. This is the one that actually does release the calcium into the blood circulation, and then aids in calcium absorption in the intestines so that it can get into the bloodstream, back into the bones or wherever it's needed, muscle contractions, things like that, heart contractions, blood vessel contractions, things like that. Peristalsia, anywhere where the body has muscular contractions, And then you have to, it helps the kidneys circulate calcium back in the blood instead of flushing it out in the urine. Okay, sometimes, your body will release some calcium in the urine, but it should not be so much that it's going to cause a calcium deficiency, and how the body produces vitamin D, to absorb more calcium from the food. So those are the two functions of these two different glands.
Got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, well, let's move on. Do you want to just go real quick through these last ones, or do you want to skip ahead?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we do have all these different hormones, right? And
yep.
if you exercise, you're going to have a more abundant kinds of. I mean, when women are more muscular, they exercise all the time. They're
Mhm.
more toned. They're going to have a little more testosterone. Basically, we should not be afraid of that. It's not like
And
we're
we,
injecting ourselves.
yeah, and we need those, we need all of those hormones to balance our bodies anyways, right? The
Yes,
estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all of that has to be in balance.
yes. Dietarily, managing stress, exercise, that'll take care of it. You know, So yeah, absolutely. Eating the right foods. I mean, as you can see, if you're reading very quickly, you can do a screenshot or pause it later on, or download the PDF to your computers.
Yes. And then, yeah, if a woman was taking prolonged power lemon and a man was taking prolonged apricot, what would happen?
Okay, so going back to all of the different plant compounds, none of it ever said that women should take anything with fig or pomegranate, or the botanicals that are in the power lemon, or nowhere in the scientific literature did it ever say that women, or excuse me, that men shouldn't take a power apricot
Apricot.
because of the
Hmm.
apricot in it, right?
Right.
Or any of the other botanicals in there. And in fact, they have some of the botanicals that are common in both. I don't think these nutritional supplements were designed to influence the hormonal, system in the body. It just gives the body all of the precursors, just like a very healthy diet with a lot of plants, in the diet would do. The plant chooses whatever plant compounds it needs, either breaks it down or utilizes it as is. I mean, the body knows exactly what to do.
Mhm.
Our genetic instructions are extremely detailed and it's highly, I want to say evolved, but that's not quite the right term. But we are highly, I'm sorry to say, we are highly. Um, I just don't want to use some of the words that would be in a business like APL Go. So anyway, I'm going to skip that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't
And
want to incriminate myself
yes. And
or
I
the
think
company.
that's the key too, is that these are plants. They're not synthetically chemical formulated pharmaceuticals. It's their plants. And so, like you said, nowhere does it say a man shouldn't have apricot and a woman shouldn't have fig.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Aside from hormone support, what other benefits do the power drops provide? I know you've already gone over a lot of that, so maybe we can just kind of scroll through that one, unless there's
Sure.
anything in there that you are just dying to say.
It helps the immune system. Okay. It's awesome. All of these botanicals have so many great benefits for the immune system as well.
Awesome. And then here we are back at question lucky number 13, hot flashes. We get this question a lot. Will power apricot help a hot flash? And how many times a day is it safe to take? If a woman is having a hot flash 3, 4, 5 times a day, can she take it 5 times a day? Is it safe? Talk to us about that.
Well, if you want to take in all those nutrients 5 times a day, by all means do so, because all of those phytonutrient complexes of nutrients in these plants, your body has a heyday. It says, okay, now I have the molecules that I need to calm my hormonal system down or to nourish, whatever the cells in my glandular system are producing, so that and detoxifying them, all of the above things that we've already talked about. So, it's not a medical dose. It's not like you're taking a drug. these are nutrients the body is looking for. And when it sees them, it's very happy. It uses them to the fullest extent. So, and by the way, hot flashes are not normal. They're common, but from what I have found from the research I've done over the years and with experience with helping clients with this problem, what the common factor was always was the fried foods, the distorted plant oils that become trans fats instead of cis fats. And that's talking about the configuration of the molecule and whether it's easily broken down and absorbed through the cell membrane at the fatty acid level, or are you trying to digest these plastics? Okay, they clog things, they disrupt the hormonal, the process of producing hormones at the glandular level. So, that's the culprit. Fried oils, heated oils are more of a problem than anything else I've ever seen. So, especially during menopause. So cut those things out and start exercising, and your hormones will adjust and the hot flashes will disappear. I never experienced a hot flash personally. And, I don't know why. I guess this is why,
Yeah.
because of the nutrient dense, balanced nutrition and exercise and all of that, dealing with stress. You can handle stress and look at your life stress entirely differently than one who is malnourished and sick and in an inflammatory state or hormonal disruption, disarray kind of thing. So a person will look at life completely differently and make different life choices. So if you want to be happy, balance your hormones, nourish your body,
Yeah.
and then stay away from all the synthetic chemicals, all those environmental pollutants. We can't really avoid them, but we can sure make choices that can cut them way, way down. Atmospheric pollutants, there's nothing we can do about those. Water sources, try not to drink the water kind of thing. Drink the purified spring waters. And then, all this stress that we undergo. If we're highly nourished, then our bodies will neutralize all the stress chemicals the body produces, these stress proteins or stress hormones. These are all inflammatory particles that go throughout the whole system and wreak havoc. They weaken the immune system as well.
Amazing. And I agree. And I too have never had a hot flash. You might think I'm too young for that, but I don't know. And I'm excited to never have one as well. So,
Young
uh,
women have them,
yeah,
young women who eat the wrong fats and are under a lot of stress and don't exercise. It's all, comes down to that.
yeah, I'm trying to do the right thing. Um,
Excellent.
yeah. So let's talk about the men. Do the ingredients in Power Lemon help you bulk up?
I love this question. So in the bodybuilding world that I was a big part of back in the 80s, and I still do weight training to this day, but not the crazy, 6-day split workouts that I used to do back then. You learn that the only thing that will bulk you up is actually it's what the muscle does after you exercise with like weight training or say sprint, some fast burst of muscular effort. You're going to be craving a lot of foods afterwards. So replenishing with animal-derived protein to replenish the nitrogen in the muscles, and then whole food carbohydrates and water together will help the muscles store glycogen, which is a muscle starch. It'll break it down to glucose for the brain as needed, but will hold on to glycogen for a few days so that your next workout will be even more powerful. You'll have more endurance, and that's what progressive, storing nutrients in the muscles. So that's what causes the bulking up that people love to look at. People love to look at the aesthetics of a well-developed, strong muscle, right? So then, like I just said, proper nutrient replenishment afterwards. And then let's see what else. Make sure I don't forget anything. Yeah, so it'll maintain the hormones and all those other things so that you will have very energetic workouts and be in a higher mindset. Working out is so amazing.
It really does boost everything, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Yes. Okay. What time of day is it recommended to take the Power Apricot and Power Lemon, and why?
All right. Again, this is not a drug. Your body will utilize nutrients no matter what time of day you take in nutrients, your body's going to use them. very, very quickly. So if you take them in the morning, it'll just provide you a nice boost. It'll improve your energy levels, making you feel alert and calm. If you take them in the afternoon, the body starts feeling a little sleepy or lethargic sometimes, and you just want to sit down and take a break. They help maintain the biochemical balance so that you can continue on. You'll have a more endurance to carry out things like that in the afternoon when things start slowing down. Or if you take them at night, that's when the body does most of its repair work. So it'll help your cells replicate and regenerate and repair and restore all of the biochemicals so that you're ready to jump out of bed in the next morning, get a good night's sleep, and it'll help you stay calm enough so that you can relax and get some good sleep.
Awesome. Love it. And then our very last question, and thank you again for, staying over, everyone watching, and for you, Mary Esther. A lot of discussion about UTIs, urinary tract infection, and that the ingredients in powdered lemon can help address those symptoms. Can you share on that, please?
Yes. Okay, real quick. The Damiana leaf, it has been known to protect against urinary tract and kidney infections because how it destroys the bacteria that causes this kind of aggravation. And then the ashwagandha root also improves the immune cell's detection actions. They're quicker about detecting the presence of bacteria. And the fig eliminates the inflammatory solutes like urea and uric acid. It's also antibacterial, antispasmodic, antifungal. And then the ginger is also a great, botanical for the kidneys. So anyone who has even acute and chronic nephritis, inflammation of the kidneys, it will kill the bacteria that causes this kind of inflammation, and then helps the body get rid of metabolic waste. So it's a great detoxifier. Panax ginseng, also antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, as well as the lemon and the pomegranate as well. So these are great for UTIs.
I love it. And again, anyone can take them, right? Because they're not medicine, they're botanicals.
They're nourishment, yes.
Nourishment. It's nutrition. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So do you want to share about how people can get a hold of you, where they can find you? You have a book or two.
Okay, yeah, just to let everyone know, when you go to my website, you can download this whole entire PDF. And then here are the links for, I did some of the scientific research just to back up what I say, and you can verify everything through these links here. So these are peer-reviewed studies, highly credible studies here. So then you can go to my website, holisticchoices.com/APL. You can look at all the PDF documents and all the videos when I find them. I don't have a direct link to where the videos are stored, but I do find them. People post them. They appear on Google a few days later. So I grab them up and I put them on my website. So I've got, going back to, I think, 2021, when we first started doing this, all the videos that we've done on all the drops. So Nutritional Synergy is the book that I put together. I've been using my own nutritional system for 45 years or so. And it's a more comprehensive dietary system that won't find anywhere else. I looked at all kinds of diets over the years, and I could never find anything that was healing and complete enough to do anyone any good. So I created my own system. So it explains how to do that. And then, of course, being in the bodybuilding world back in the 80s and 90s and a little bit now, this is how you bulk up. This is how you maintain your strength and lean, body tissue to body fat mass, and maintain all of your system, the nervous system and everything, your hormonal system, everything. And the book I wrote especially for the APL Go associates. I had to revise it, and we've mentioned that before in other videos that I won't go into right now. But this has all the botanicals that are in the drops and all the scientific research, peer-reviewed studies, citations, dictionary, encyclopedia, nutrition section, phytonutrient database. It's all in there. So this will give you a lot of confidence when you go out and explain about the drops without getting the company in trouble or getting yourself in trouble for trying to practice medicine without a license, right? No, we're just nourishing the body. We're finding out what the body needs to maintain itself and restore itself to proper functioning. So that's what that book is about. And then True Health Mastery just gives you a general overview of how to be healthy, what to look out for, not to fall for a lot of the propaganda and false information out there, misinformation, disinformation, that kind of thing. So that puts people on the right track. It's the first book I wrote. And then I also wrote this book, How to Select the Right Supplements, for those of you who are looking to buy supplements, but to not get, not to get bamboozled into buying something that your body doesn't need or can't absorb or is redundant, or inadequate. Just get a whole food supplement. I do have some supplements on my website that I just, if you want a vitamin mineral supplement, you can find it there. And I don't get any commission for those. I just refer people to the best supplements I possibly can. So anyhow, yeah, holisticchoices.com. I'm not taking clients this month. I'm trying to open my online institute. It's called the True Health Mastery Institute of Holistic Personal Health Management. And so that's going to be a site where you can get a lot of questions answered, a lot of videos, a lot of articles. So I've written a lot of articles over the years, so I'm just bombarding the online library there for people to do that. And it's a place where we can have more frank discussions and less guarded discussions about what's really going on in the world and how to protect yourself and your health and your loved ones.
I love it. I love it. I love everything that you stand for and do for us. Again, holisticchoices.com. That is your website, and that's where people can go find all of the resources and links to purchase your books as well, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You, I know, have spent a lot of time going over and researching everything, and the extra time tonight. I just thank you so much. I always learn, and I took tons of notes again. And everyone in the chat was just thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, thank you for those who stayed on with us a little bit extra. We're so lucky to have you as this resource, and we will get this recording up. And again, Mary Esther, thank you so much, and I look forward to the next Behind the Science with you.
It's my pleasure and my honor, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.